What up, guys? We're going to be talking about how much should a high school pitcher throw per week. And I think, I talk about this often as like when it comes to throwing, or even when it comes to like baseball in general, there are very hardly any. Well, I don't know how to say that. There's hardly any absolutes, right? So like there's hardly any right answers. And it's about identifying for you what the best routine or protocols are going to be. And I know when you're in high school, you're not really mindful of that. Granted, with my background, like I was very fortunate to have a father that really understood that and really trained my arm from an early age to handle stress and handle load throughout the course of the season. So for me, I was always fortunate to throw a lot because I think I handled it. The one thing that I do want to talk about when it comes to like, hey, how much should I throw per week is the sense that you can throw as much as your body and your arm are prepared to throw. So what I mean by that is I see the biggest disconnect with, I talked about this when I did a segment on summer ball, is like kids, again, I try not to bag on you guys, but like I see a lot of kids and hear about a lot of kids who, spend a lot of summer like on the couch and resting and relaxing, and that's fine, and playing video games. I've been a kid too. It's fine. I'm still a kid. And then all of a sudden like the weekend hits and they're like up going to the tournament. I got to throw 10 innings in 3 days. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we're intentional with our preparation and we're training ourselves, efficiently to handle stress, then that's the biggest influencer. Like we shouldn't look at it and say, okay, how much should I throw? Plug that into my protocols and then I'll be good for the rest of my life. It's about, okay, where am I at right now? What does my preparation look like? What am I doing to, prepare myself for the season? And then we make those adjustments as we progress. So, for me, I want to flip this question around on you guys and say, like, what does your preparation look like? Because if your preparation is solid and, and you guys are going about it the right way, then that's gonna be a totally different answer than the kid who's, doesn't really know anything to do with preparation. They're kind of just going out there to play. You know what I mean? So, there's no absolutes. There's no set number of days per week that you should throw. Again, I'm a big proponent of, training the body and training the arm to handle that stress, handle that load, and the only way you can do that is by throwing, right? So, hopefully that makes sense. But I'm a big advocate of training in that particular way. And like I said, man, like I was very fortunate, and I realize that now as I get older. I was very fortunate to have a father that instilled that in me at an early age. So takeaway from this is look at your preparation. Are you preparing accordingly? Are you preparing efficiently? Are you identifying what your sweet spot is? I know there's guys in the big leagues that are very successful that have a crazy week routine where it's like, I know, who is it? The guy from the Dodgers. He like doesn't throw a bullpen in between his starts, right? And he doesn't like pick up a ball 2 out of the 5 days or something. Like, that's crazy. I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum where I'm like more, and that's kind of just what I felt that is gonna allow me to be the best pitcher that I could be. So I know you're in high school, and again, I know I've been there, and the last thing you want to do is be super mindful of everything you're doing, But that's my biggest piece of encouragement, especially if you're a dad listening to this, is like, get him to start really figuring out, hey, when do you feel the best, or when do you feel the worst? Like, hey, if you were super sore after that particular game, why do you think that was? What'd your week look like? You know what I mean? So hopefully that makes sense.